All right, Shalom, Shalom family. This is Dagar. Just want to go into a quick breakdown of how the kingdom will look. So we're just gonna go into some a few precepts, show y'all, uh, eschatological, you know, what it's gonna look like in the kingdom. All right. So just a quick video. So I wanted to start it off with uh, how the kingdom is gonna look for the Israelites, right, the chosen people of God. As we know, it's the Black, Hispanic, and Native American here in the Americas, right? Or if you don't agree with that, however, whoever the Israelites are, this is what it's going to look like in the kingdom. So we'll start with Deuteronomy 30. Okay, so just some context. This is a prophecy, right? And it's going to show you what it's going to look like in the end times. So I'm just going to go ahead and read Deuteronomy 30 from the top. All right, it says, so this is Deuteronomy 30 from the top. It says, and it shall come to pass when all these things are come upon thee, the blessing and the curse which I have set before thee, and thou shalt call them to mind among all the nations whither the Lord thy God had driven thee. Okay, so this is in the future time. This is eschatological, right? This hasn't happened yet. So we're going to jump down to verse 7 and verse 8. All right. So it says, and the Lord thy God will put all these curses upon thine enemies and on them that hate thee, which persecuted thee. These curses being from Deuteronomy 28, right? It says, and thou shalt return and obey the voice of the Lord and do all his commandments, which I command thee this day. So with this prophecy, it hasn't happened yet, right? It's saying that the curses from Deuteronomy are going to be put on the heathens, and we are going to be, as a whole nation, Israel is going to be obeying the commandments of God, right? So we're going to see the same type of language in other New Covenant scriptures, right? About how God's chosen people, the Israelites, are going to be living in the kingdom to come. Okay, so we're going to jump now to Ezekiel chapter 11, right? This is these are good New Covenant scriptures, right? So we're going to go from verses 19 and 20 in Ezekiel 11. We can jump down there. All right, so I'm going to read it. It says, and I will give them one heart, and I will put a new spirit within you, and I will take the stony heart of their flesh and will give them an heart of flesh. Verse 20, that they may walk in my statutes and keep my ordinances and do them, and they shall be my people, and I will be their God. So again, this is another scripture, right? In the future time, it says that all of Israel, right, is going to be one heart and a new spirit, meaning there's not going to be any division between us. There's going to be one understanding that we all have, which is going to come from the Most High, because He's going to give us that heart of flesh, right? And then notice it says we're going to keep. It says we're going to walk and keep and do all these commandments that He commands us today, right? And we try to do that today, but we still have the fleshly body. We don't have our new bodies. We still have our stony heart, right? And no matter how much we try to, we're not in the new covenant yet, right? Again, another New Covenant scripture is going to be Jeremiah 31, just to show you guys again, eschatological times, eschatological scriptures that shows us that how Israel and Judah, the Israelites, are going to be living, right? So if you go to Jeremiah 31 verse 31, and I'm gonna read to verse 34. All right. So this is Jeremiah 31 and 31. It says, behold, the days come, right? Hasn't happened yet, saith the Lord, that I will make a new covenant with the house of Israel and with the house of Jacob. Right? Notice, not with everybody. This is for the Israelites. A promise for the Israelites, right? Like how we read in Deuteronomy 30. Okay, it says, not according to the covenant that I made with their fathers in the day that I took them by the hand to bring them out of the land of Egypt. It says, which my covenant they break, right? We sinned. Although I was an husband unto them, saith the Lord. Verse 33, it says, but this shall be the covenant that I will make with the house of Israel after those days, saith the Lord. Right, check this out. I will put my law in their inward parts and write it in their hearts, and will be their God, and they shall be my people. Right, so the law is going to be in our hearts, meaning that we're going to know the law, we're going to do it. We're not going to be sinning in the kingdom of heaven. Verse 34, and they shall teach no more every man his neighbor and every man his brother, saying, know the Lord, for they shall all know me, from the least of them unto the greatest of them, saith the Lord. For I will forgive their iniquity and will remember their sin no more. Right? So again, we're not gonna be out here like we're doing today, teaching the Bible to our people, right? When the new kingdom comes, right? All the Israelites, the least to the greatest, we're all gonna know Christ. We're all gonna know God, right? We're all gonna do and follow His law, statutes, and commandments. We're gonna be without sin. All right. So now, can we jump to Ezekiel 34? All right, we're going to read verse 22 and 23. All right, there it is. All right, Khan. So this is a book of Ezekiel, chapter 34, verse 22. It says, therefore will I save my flock, and they shall no more be a prey, and I will judge between cattle and cattle, and I will set up one shepherd over them, and he shall feed them, even my servant David. He shall feed them, and he shall be their shepherd. Right. So again, another a new covenant, in the kingdom scripture. Right. It says that shepherd coming from David, we know that that's Christ. Right. He's going to be the King of Kings. He's going to be our ruler. He's going to be the one over everybody. But it says that he's going to feed his sheep. Right. Being us, Israel. Right. It says we will no longer be prey or under subjugation to the heathen. Okay. So any Israelites are going to be on top, right? So now today, right? Let's think about it today. Today, we are under subjugation to everybody here in America. Who are the Israelites subjugated to? The Europeans, right? Esau, right? They're the ones that set up this country by rape, robbery, murder, right? It says that we're never going to be a prey anymore. We're not going to have to worry about our kids getting taken off the streets, right? We're not going to have to worry about any of that. Okay, we'll jump now to verse 28 and 29. It's going to say that, right? It says, it says, this is Ezekiel 34 and 28. It says, and they shall no more be a prey to the heathen, right? Neither shall the beast of the land devour them, but they shall dwell safely, and none shall make them afraid. And I will raise up for them a plant of renown, and they shall be no more consumed with hunger in the land, neither bear the shame of the heathen anymore. So again, this is the promise that the Most High gave us, and all the way back in Ezekiel, right? That we're going to be safe. We're going to be without fear. We're not going to be afraid, right? The heathen are not going to be preying on this anymore. So all praise to the Most High. These blessings are going to come, right? So that's just a few scriptures to show you how Israel is going to be living in the kingdom. Now, on the flip side, right, I want to show you guys how the heathen are going to be living in the kingdom, right? Because everybody's going to be in the kingdom, right? Every nation except for the Edomites that's going to be exterminated, right? After a while. Other than them, every nation is going to be in the kingdom or heaven, right? Like, as Christians and Catholics know it. So we're going to go to Zechariah 14, and we're going to read verse 16 to 19. All right, I think it's there on the screen. Okay, Khan, this is Zechariah 14 and 16. It says, and it shall come to pass that every one that is left of all the nations which came against Jerusalem shall even go up from year to year to worship the King, the Lord of hosts, and to keep the Feast of Tabernacles. So just right there, right? This is again eschatological, excuse me, meaning it's going to be in the kingdom. This is going to be happening, right? So these nations, right, are going to come to the land and they're going to offer their sacrifices and they're going to keep. It says the festival of tabernacles, right? And it's verse 17. It says, and it shall be and it shall be that whosoever will not come up of all the families of the earth unto Jerusalem to worship the King, the Lord of hosts, even upon them shall be no rain. And if the family of Egypt go not up and come not, that have no rain, there shall be the plague, right? Wherewith the Lord will smite the heathen that come not up to keep the Feast of Tabernacles. This shall be the punishment of Egypt and the punishment of all nations that come not up to keep the Feast of Tabernacles. So why is that important, right? It's talking about in the end times. In the end times, we just read earlier that the Israelites are going to be keeping the law perfectly, right? There's going to be no sin for us in the kingdom. But the heathen on the flip side, like we read in Deuteronomy, right, that the curses and the plagues are going to be on them. Right here in Zechariah, we can read that if they don't come and keep the law of God, they don't come and keep the Feast of Tabernacles, that he's going to curse them with no rain. He's going to curse them with plagues. He's going to curse them. He's going to smite them. He's going to kill them. Of the heathen, the non-Israelites that don't follow the rules, right? The commandments. This is what's going to happen. Nowhere in any of the scriptures of the new kingdom in heaven do we see Israelites being punished for not keeping the law. You know why? Because we read earlier, we're going to be keeping the law perfectly, right? So again, one more. Keep this video nice and short. We're going to go to Isaiah 14 and 1 and 2. All right, so we're there. So this is going to be a complete 180, right, of the power system of this world today. Okay. So Isaiah 14 from the top, it says, for the Lord will have mercy on Jacob, the Israelites, right, and will yet choose Israel. Look at that. And set them in their own land. And the strangers, being these heathen, right, shall be joined with them, and they shall cleave to the house of Jacob. And the people shall take them and bring them to their place, and the house of Israel shall possess them in the land of the Lord for servants and handmaids. And look at this. And they shall take them captives, whose captives they were, and they shall rule over their oppressors. All right, look at that. So this is, again, kingdom connotation. Right, this is in the new kingdom. This is the end times. All right. So the Jacob, Israel, the Lord's going to have mercy on us. But it's going to be a complete flip of 180, right? We're not going to be under subjugation to anybody anymore. Now the heathen are going to be under subjugation to us, right? And we're going to rule, like it says in Revelation, we're going to rule them with a rod of iron, right? As a matter of fact, let's get that. Let's go to Revelation, the book of Revelation, chapter 2, verse 27, Baba Kasha. We're gonna read verse 26. Actually, we're gonna start at 26. All right, so verse 26 and verse 27 in Revelation chapter 2. Okay, and it says, I'll read it right now. Revelation 2, verse 26. It says, and he that overcometh and keepeth my works unto the end, this is Christ talking, to him will I give, to him will I give power over the nations, and he shall, and he shall rule them with a rod of iron. As the vessels of a potter shall they be broken to shivers, even as I received of my Father. See that? So again, Christ, this is a red letter. Christ is talking to us that when we overcome, right, when we get to the kingdom, we're going to be ruling over these nations with the rod of iron. meaning that, like it said in Zechariah, like we just read, we're going to be making them keep the law, right? They're going to be the sinners in the kingdom. Israel will not be sinning in the kingdom. We're going to be the rulers. We are going to be the chosen, right? So just a quick little video I wanted to make, showing of how the kingdom will look for us, right? Israel as compared to the heathen. So that's it, family. Just a quick video. And with that, I want to give call out Yahweh Bashim Hamashiach Shalom.